Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to Global Impromptu Speaking session number 221st. Thank you so much for joining in today. I can see a few new faces. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's welcome with thunderous round of applause. Thank you, newcomers. This is impromptu session. We are not any official Toastmaster club. We are from different Toastmasters clubs. Here we practice impromptu speaking. If you all know, good. If you don't know, and this is what we do. And this is the 221st session, as I mentioned. And this product is a byproduct of lockdown. Today, we have been, it's been more than, not 2 years actually, 1.5 years. And we've been meeting thrice a week, every Friday, every Sunday, and every Wednesday. We meet, we speak, we inspire, we aspire, we elate each other. We become a better human being. You know why? Because nowadays I always mention on a lighter note, even your spouse doesn't have time to speak to you or listen to you much. But here we speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and for rest of the session, which is almost 1 hour, we listen to other members. Isn't it great? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in today. Today our topics masters are very supportive, very young, and very regular to this platform, Toastmaster Akib Javed, all the way from India. Let's put our hands together without wasting any single second to welcome him on stage, Toastmaster Akib Javed, to give you interesting topics. Over to you, Toastmaster Akib.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, each and everyone here, especially to newcomers. We are happy to see new faces in our meeting. Welcome everyone to 221st meeting of Global Impromptu. This platform, as Amjad sir told, it was a byproduct of COVID, and like the frequency is very high. Every week we meet thrice, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So all the newcomers, if you have time on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday nights, you can join us. We'll have 1.5 hour kind of session wherein we all learn on impromptu speaking. And I'm very happy to announce that some of our regular members have qualified in this impromptu speaking and contest, which we have, table topic contest, which we have. So it's a great platform to learn, impromptu speaking. Second up, our word of the day is lenient. Lenient is merciful, forgiving, little relaxed. So lenient word when comes to my mind, when I was in first year of my college, we used to describe teacher in 2 categories. The stringent one who was not giving marks in internals, other one is lenient. So we were like, this sir is lenient. Out of 20, he'll give 19. So your 19 is secured in this one. You have to score another 11 in externals. And the other one is stringent, you have to work very hard. So that's how we used to define our teachers, with the word lenient. I would urge everyone to use lenient while speaking for this session. So moving up, we'll start the session with Savita ma'am, since she joined for the first time. Savita ma'am, can we have quick audio video check?
Yes, Toastmaster Akib.
Toastmaster Savita, what the superior man seeks is in himself, what the small man seeks is in others. What the superior man seeks is in himself, what the small man seeks is in others. Toastmaster Savita, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akib, and my greetings to everyone present here. When you are in the process of learning in this life, we seek that what other people are doing, what other people are up to. We are very strict in that approach. But slowly, with our knowledge, with our life experiences, with elders' teachings, with your own experience at your personal level and professional level, you learn that you have to seek in himself, yourself, not on when you're from others. In the beginning of this process, you are strict to your mind. Then slowly, with experience, with different examples, you give leniency to your mind. No, what you have to do is you have to do for yourself. The seeking is for yourself, not for others, not to others. That realization, once a person gets it, then the small things remain behind. It seems very small. So many things which are surrounding you, experiences, incidents, you feel they are very, very small. You have to seek in yourself, what you are, what you want to become, what is the ultimate goal of this life. I think most of the people, they just get entangled in small things of the life, and they are away from what actual life is. I feel the main aim of the life should be to seek happiness. Whatever you are doing in this life, whichever work, you should not compromise your happiness, because our life is very uncertain. And this last COVID has given us a very good example. So we have to be lenient to our mind, to our thinking, and give the direction. Yes, we have to seek in ourselves, not others. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Akin.
A great take on the topic, Savita ma'am. Life is very short. We should not compromise on happiness, and we should be little lenient on our mind, and we should give it a proper direction. Great take on the topic. Moving ahead with the session, I would like to go ahead with Dinisha ma'am. Dinisha ma'am, can we have quick audio video check?
Toastmaster.
Yes, yes ma'am, we can hear you. Topic for you ma'am. Toastmaster Dinisha, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. Toastmaster Dinisha, the stage is yours.
Thank you for the topic. And good evening to all you global impromptu family members. Revenge. Revenge should not be in our vocabulary. Revenge is dangerous. Why should we revenge? There's no need to get revenge. If you are right, you are doing the right thing. You need not. Others may do some their own way, but we do not want to follow them. We don't want to make angry with them, because if we make angry with them, the person who get affected is ourselves, not them. When we get angry, all our systems functions badly. Maybe our body, mentally, and everything, even our family members affect before we get before we make damage to a third party, the other persons. So getting angry and revenge is very dangerous. So that will continue us. If we do a revenge, the other person will do a tit for that. And that has no end. Finally, yes, I agree with you, Toastmaster. We have to dig 2 graves. That is my take on. Over to you, Topic Master.
Thanks, Nilisha ma'am. If we are doing right things, there is no need to, be angry. That's what you talked about, and a great take on the topic. Moving ahead with the session, I would like Sharman sir to come. I mean, if he's ready to
Yes.
take the topic. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Toastmaster Sharman. The funniest people are the saddest ones. The funniest people are the saddest one. Toastmaster Sharman. The stage is yours.
Yes, in some extent that's correct. And the funniest people actually they waste their time. And Mr. Topic Master and Global Friends, and once they waste their time, also they repent why we wasted time for funny things. And also some have nothing to do, and sarcastically they uh, they laughed with to see others. We are in a happy situations, and in front of others they sarcastically laugh. That's the only those two things I can say. And the wise man is not, it's called empty vessel makes more sound. That's also I think suit for this idiom, for this topic. The people don't have much knowledge or things around her or him, and they try to make sounds and disturb others. And the wise man is not like that. He talks very carefully and listen to others and take wise decisions. And that's the message I took from this topic. The funny person is wasting time and repenting one day, and just they talk whatever comes to your mind and wasting time, and maybe whatever words coming from your other person's mouth is damaging the other person's mind, I can say. Those things are happening in our society, because some are with jealous, some have not gone to the, some are with like frogs in the well. Say they don't know what's happening around the world, and like that, I can say, judging the people. Maybe their education levels and the breed or the coming from your family backgrounds also matters, and the society whom you associate also everything. If you want to be a good brand, you have to associate the good people. Better not to associate the notorious characters. Also harm your brand. Over to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Great take on the topic, Sharman sir. Wise people speak less, take wise decisions. It is very much true. And we all have certain influence on our upbringing. So the places where we come from, the places we got birth, the places where I studied, my initial period, it will always have influence on my thought process, the way I, think. So Saurabh Mukherjee has written a book in which he has mentioned that if someone has born in the time of bull market, or they call it when share market goes up, that guy and the other guy who was born in the time of bear market, they all had different mentality. So the person who was born and in that area where market was going down, he has more hedge related thought process. However, the other guy is very much bullish. So that anyway will have a huge impact on our thought process. A great take on the topic, Sharman sir. Moving ahead with the session, I would like to call upon stage Toastmaster Mukesh. Toastmaster Mukesh, can we have quick audio video check if you are ready?
Hi, everyone is able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you perfectly. Toastmaster Mukesh, study the past, if you would define the future. Study the past if you would define the future. Toastmaster Mukesh, the stage is yours.
Greetings to everyone. Study the past to define the future. So, what I understand or what it means is that we should be aware of our mistakes. Or the past is very vibrant. We should understand from the experiences of others, from others, be it the leaders, be it the businessmen, that what they have done, and we should see what we should learn. We should take learnings from them, and based on that, we should take our actions accordingly. So, just to give you an example, a lot of dictators, they try to see that they have the powers throughout their life, but they have not learned from the mistakes of other rulers who tried to conquer and try to be there always. So we should observe the past. We should observe the history, and this is in anything in life, that that what has happened, and based on that we should take our learnings and act accordingly. Thank you, everyone.
Great take on the topic, Toastmaster Mukesh. Observe the past and reflect on the future. People who ruled earlier, they didn't take cognizance of the other dictators who got ruled out. Great improvisation, Toastmaster Mukesh. Moving ahead, Toastmaster Rishabh, can we have quick audio video check if you're ready?
Yes, Toastmaster Akib, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And
Fantastic.
Toastmaster Rishabh, the man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away a small stone. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Toastmaster Rishabh, the stage is yours.
Oh, quite a lengthy topic. The man who moves a mountain starts by carrying a very small stone. This indeed reflects on the kind of impact a very interesting human being can make to anything that he puts his mind to, whether it be changing a culture in an organization or going against a tradition in their family. The impact will be huge, but it starts with extremely small steps. As highlighted in the book, The Atomic Habits, if you give just 1% more than you are actually capable of, over a period of time, you'll see a 30%, 37% increase in yourself. But if you give 1% less than what you're capable of, you will definitely see a much lesser, in fact, your improvement chances decrease. And this is something I observed in my organization as well. I have roughly 4 years of experience in analytics, but when I came into the firm, I was extremely new, it was very nascent to me. I had no idea about it. So what do you do when you have no idea about what to do? You look towards your seniors, you look towards your peers. When we were babies, we didn't know what to do. So we looked towards our parents. And one of my seniors was very interested in bringing a new type of work culture in our project, which was to have an informal catch up every Friday. This wouldn't be related to what your tasks were during the day or what your targets were in the entire goal, but it would just be sort of a catch up in terms of how are you doing? Do you like the work, or do you like your team? What do you think can be changed? While it started with only 2 participants, me and the senior, we used to catch up and sort of work on ourselves. This slowly became a culture in our team. From a team of 10, we expanded to a team of 40. And in that particular meeting, from 2, we became 25. And the duration of the meeting extended from 30 minutes to almost 1.5 hours. It wasn't a scheduled meeting, but it was all about the people in it, what they wanted to share, what they wanted to speak. It was kind of like a global impromptu meeting because no one had an agenda on their mind, but everyone was very interested in giving their opinions. So that was a culture which he brought in our organization. And it started with only a person and a thought in his mind, with only 2 people in a meeting. And it went on to become a meeting of 25 people. So yes, he moved a mountain, but he had to start with a very small stone. Thank you.
A great take on the topic, Toastmaster Rishabh. These small catch-ups that we have, it leaves a larger impact. The meeting which our bosses plan 1 hour, back-to-back 5 meeting, that won't give the result. However, if you plan a 30 minutes catch-up in the evening, it solves a lot of issues. So that I have also observed, and boss has planned like monthly once 1 hour call, wherein he doesn't have any agenda and we just discuss on normal topics. In those normal topics, lot of issues gets resolved. So that's a very comfortable call wherein you are very easily telling your problems, and boss is also taking it very easily. So no one looks at the barriers, no one looks at the protocols, and issues get resolved very fast. A great talk on the a great improvisation of the topic, Toastmaster Rishabh. We'll move ahead. Next up, Toastmaster Sachin, can we have quick audio video check? Toastmaster Sachin Kaushik.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
So, Toastmaster Sachin, life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Toastmaster Sachin, the stage is yours.
Life is really very simple, but we make it complicated. And I believe that this is a true statement. Life starts as a kid, then we become adolescents, and then we grew up as an adult. This is a life cycle of each and every one. But as the time has come more and more near to technical or technology, source of information has increased, and it has bombarded person so much that person is not able to understand what to take and what to reject. Moreover, expectation has increased. People are forced to run into the rat race. This is the situation. Even parents tell their children, look at that person, he is at top. You have to reach there. Forget all other things. You need to concentrate on that. All these things are leading to increase in stress. And that's why we see many suicides, not in teenagers, but adult people also do the same thing, because they think they are not able to meet the expectation of theirs and their family members. The only thing is, first of all, we should be gratitude of what we have, and always we should be happy, though whatever worst situation we have. Feel that what I am having is sufficient. There are many people across the world, they don't have money to have their 2 square meals. Keeping such things in mind, we can control our emotions and thoughts, which are making us to run towards this rat race. I'm not saying that we must not be apart, because if we are not, then we will be left somewhere else. That's all. Thank you very much.
Good thought on the topic, Toastmaster Sachin. We have to be little lenient, and we should not join the horde of people doing rat race. We should all practice gratitude. This is what I could understand. This is very important for all of us to practice the gratitude for whatever we have, and we should be happy that this is what I have, and with that we can move ahead. So there is no going back, and it's enough, I believe. Whatever we have is enough. People are not having anything. We are able to come into this meeting itself is a privilege. Moving ahead with the session, I would like to call upon stage Toastmaster Harita. Are you available?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
You can see me. You can hear my voice.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Harita, wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. Wheresoever you go with all your heart. Toastmaster Harita, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Wherever you go with your full heart. Wheresoever you go with your full heart. It is said like, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yes.
And if you have a good heart, what more you want? You can blossom the whole place, anywhere in the world. I understand the most challenging thing in the world, which is missing, people don't listen. If you have a good heart, none need to listen. They just be soaked in that. Whatever you say, it just impacts them. When we speak something, when we do something, people keep observing. Everybody has their own opinion. And in the process, we may judge somebody is right, somebody is wrong, but that person standing in that post, in that position, would understand why he is judging like that. Rather, the whole world could look at them and say why he is like that or she is like that. How do I say? Heart without any hurt, you can win the whole world. Is there anything left over? You win the heart like a Michael Jackson. There's no religion, there is no boundaries, there is nothing. Like how we say, Braille without borders, the two young people who came forward, one being the blind, she became blind at the age of 12, and she went around the world and she started an institute for the other whole set of people who are some ailment, some problem. The same way, like today we are here because Dr. Ralph S. Medley has sowed that seed 95 years back, if I'm not wrong. And today we are all sitting under that tree, under the shadow. And just like that, you have a heart, you have no boundaries. Thank you, Toastmaster.
A great take on the topic, Toastmaster Harita. If you have a heart, there is no boundary. And that's what Global Impromptu is about. There is no boundaries. People are here from across the boundaries. Next up, I would like to call upon stage Usha ma'am. Usha ma'am, can we have quick audio video check?
Yes, Akhil. Am I audible?
Yes.
Oh.
Postmaster Usha, everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Postmaster Usha, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Topic Master Akib. And good evening to all Global Impromptu family members. Yes, that's 100% true. Everything is beauty. It has its own beautiness, whatever it is, like being a human being or being any of the. See, we all are in a place where around we have health. So the birds, flowers, trees around us. Everything has its own kind of features. In that case, what not, everything. But the way we look at them is how we look. whether they're really beautiful or not. No. As in the previous topic, when one should be heartfully see the things, then you look at them as beautiful as they are. Any of the species in the world, like being a tree or a flower or a instrument or animal, whatever it is, it has its own unique feature. Always see that feature as it is. Don't compare with any other thing. When you look at them, it has its own uniqueness. Look into that way, it is like that. The way we look at the things is may not be the way they are in, or it may not be the way we think about them. When we heard any coil, like when we heard the sound of a coil, we feel like, wow, so beautiful voice. When we heard, some sounds of the trees, sometimes the breeze comes, right? That time when we heard the sound of the breeze, we feel like, wow. But at the same time, when it's become what we call tufan, that time it's become horrible, that voice. But both are the same, it's coming from same trees. But the way we look at is depending on the situation, what the time it is. So always look around the beautiness, the way how it's meant for, not like the way what you like it. So yes, then everything will be beautiful. Nothing is like you can't say like what I mean here is always take lenient, not in favor of like that's all my take Agif for the day. Thank you so much.
Nice take on the topic, Usha ma'am. Everything has about beauty, and we should not judge things, and we should look the way it is meant to be looked. Moving ahead with the session, Deepa ma'am, can we have you on stage? Are you available? Yeah.
Yes.
Deepa ma'am, topic for you is Toastmaster Deepa. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. Toastmaster Deepa, the stage is yours.
When I was in school, I might have been in 3rd standard. I had a argument with another boy in the class. I had got 7.25 marks and he had got 7.5 marks. And he was telling, hey, I got more. And I was like, no, I got more. What are you saying? 4 is greater than 2 and therefore 7.25 is greater than 7.5. So he knew fractions better. So he was right, but I thought I was right. And guess what? I was so convincing. I got a whole bunch of my friends sitting around me to accept the fact that, hey, I convinced them 4 is greater than 2. What is he talking about? And everybody gathered around me. Sometimes you never know what's the right thing and the wrong thing. Somebody like me can convince you that what was wrong is right. So I don't believe in something totally right or totally wrong in many aspects of life. It's quite subjective. You need to see in their eyes. In the eyes of an innocent Deepa, 7.25 is greater than 7.5. In the eyes of the very intelligent Roger, 7.5 is greater than 7.25. I think it's all about accepting the fact that we learn from it. Gradually, we learn from it. I understood fractions. I understood it's 1/4 and not 1/4 later on. So later on, I accepted the fact, okay, Roger was right. And I still remember him to this day. So as long as we understand where we went wrong and accept it and correct it and move ahead, I think there's nothing better than being wrong. It's not about being right all the time. Just be wrong. It's fine, but accept it when you realize you're wrong and move ahead. What do you say, Toastmasters?
Right. We agree.
We agree with Deepa ma'am. Great take on the topic, Deepa ma'am. Moving ahead with the session, I would like to call upon stage Toastmaster Jaya. Jaya ma'am, can we have quick audio video check?
Good evening. Can you please excuse me for today? I don't want to start the camp.
No problem, ma'am. No worries. Toastmaster, yeah, ma'am. Toastmaster Jaya. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Toastmaster Jaya. The stage is yours.
Happiness depends on ourselves. A very good evening to all the impromptu members and their guests. All the happiness depends upon us. I truly agree on this. But however, right from beginning as a child, we were all taught by our parents, by our grandparents, in schools, that we must sacrifice and we must look at other people's happiness than yours. With this, we all grow up with that in mind. And we forget ourselves totally, our own happiness. We are so bothered what others will think. We don't want to hurt anyone. We think about other happiness and not yours. If we make them happy, then there's a peace. Uh, we get peace. You want your parents, your family members to be for the sake of their happiness. We can't put them down. And even otherwise, vice versa, if we go against them and we hurt that feeling, we don't even like it. And it's like we end up being looked as very selfish, you know. So it's very difficult. And even now, even if I want to be happy, I want to go my way, or if any one of you want to go your way, we still end up thinking what people think, what parents will think. Rather, we sacrifice ourselves to make other people happy, your parents happy. And I want to put question to all of you. What is wise, our happiness or theirs? Is so difficult. And in the end, when we realize why we end up being sacrificing for others, why can't we stop it and think for ourselves? Till today, I still find it difficult. Over to you.
Great take on the topic, Jaya ma'am. We judge others, others judge us, and it all boils down to Abba nahi manenge. We're saying in India, fathers want Adi. Moving ahead with the session, Toastmaster Naveen, can we have a quick audio video check?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yep.
Toastmaster Naveen, poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. Toastmaster Naveen, the stage is yours.
Dear friends, William Shakespeare has once said that fathers who bear bags will see their children blind, but fathers who wear rags will see their children blind, but fathers who bear bags will see their children kind. Yes, William Shakespeare had very clearly mentioned that is the root cause of all problem in a family is money. And of course, an amicable relationship these days in this materialistic world has become because of this root cause. So don't you really feel that the way we used to live our traditional life has changed as per the changing times, as per the changing values? So friends, what are the things that we can do to ensure that we get back to our roots? Certain things which I would mention are: inculcate the value of our tradition in our kids, which are not there. And of course, money should be used as a tool or as a mechanism for your living. It shouldn't be used as a mechanism to gauge others and to differentiate between different segments of the society. So it's very important to educate our youngsters in a manner so that it leads to equality amongst the society. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
We take on the topic, and one takeaway which we all got: fathers that wear rags do make their children blind, but fathers that wear bags shall see their children kind. And we all must inculcate all the habits in our children, and whatever we say, children will learn. So it's all up to us how we are going to either wear a bag or wear a rag. A great take on the topic, Naveen sir. Moving ahead, we have Jatin left. Jatin, are you available now? Can we do it?
Yes, sir. Can you see me?
No, we cannot see you.
No?
Now we can see you, Jatin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jatin, topic for you is hope is a waking dream. Hope is a waking dream. Toastmaster Jatin, the stage is yours.
Can you send it in the chat? Yeah. Hope is a waking dream. Okay. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my fellow impromptu family members. So my topic is hope is a waking dream, and I totally agree to this topic. As if you don't have hope, like you won't be having a dream. You have to always have hope on one thing or another thing. If you don't have hope on anything, then your dream won't come true. So you need to always have and hope on on something or another. Like for example, that if you want to get full mark, you need to hope that you'll get it. You just no, it's like you written the exam and you left. That's not gonna work. But if you're hoping that you're gonna get full marks, there is a chance that you might get a full mark, and that has happened to me so many times, and I've got really good marks. So if you always have hope, you'll always have a dream. Thank you, and over to you.
Super. Great job done, Toastmaster Jatin. Next up, we have Dinesh. Dinesh, can we have quick audio video check?
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Toastmaster Dinesh. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. Toastmaster Dinesh, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master, and very good evening on my impromptu Toastmasters and the friends. Doesn't matter how slow I go, but how I can take it is consistency matters. There is a proverb, the book I recently started reading. It's Kaizen from Japanese. There is this book called Kaizen, and what Japanese call it, Kaizen is the consistency improvement. You don't need to take 1 hour workout in a single day. If you are going to a gym, you don't need to go do work for a complete one day. Just take 30 seconds and build on that. If you are, increase it by another 30 seconds every day. Like if even 30 seconds don't matter, it will be tough for you. Then increase after a week. It's just the small things, and it's just the consistency that matters, right? And if you are trying to wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., so if your current timing is 7 a.m., you can start reducing it by 6:50 and then 6:40, and then come to the target that you have. It's just the small things that matter, and if we can divide and if you can do that consistency, if you do that for 90 days, I think that will boost your confidence, and you can move on to the next level milestones. Right? You just start with a single step, even the 1,000 miles that have, just start with a single step. It doesn't matter how fast you go. It depends how well and how confident that you are going in that process. If you find the process helpful, then it will definitely help you. So take 30 seconds every day, meditate, and if you repeat the same, and that's when we can inculcate all this process. So yeah, it doesn't matter how fast you get, it's the small steps that do matter. Over to you. Okay, thank you so much.
Great take on the topic, Toastmaster Dinesh. I think we have completed all of them. Amjad sir, I think it's your turn now.
We have one more participant. He just joined. I think he left now.
Naveed joined and he left.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready then.
Toastmaster Amjad, to perceive is to suffer. To perceive is to suffer. Toastmaster Amjad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To perceive is to suffer. That means as long as you are alive, you have to suffer. Because as long as you are alive, you will be perceiving. You will be thinking about something. You will be setting goals. You will be setting some passions in every single age you are in. So I completely agree and buy this topic. To perceive is to suffer. But is this suffer we always aspire, or we feel like when we know that we are going to perceive and we're going to suffer, I believe we enjoy the game, isn't it? As we all know, when we were kids, we were perceiving, but we were not suffering. We were enjoying it. And then when we grew up, we got in our senses. We felt like, okay, now we are the decision makers. We got the powers. And when we suffer only when we expect more and we feel like I am the powerful person. And when we go back in our childhood, we were not suffering at all. This is enjoying it. I believe this is the phenomena of our life. We have to enjoy every single part of it. Because if we are suffering or perceiving or enjoying all these games, whatever is happening in our life, that proves that we are still alive. And once we are all gone, we are not breathing anymore, then of course there is no suffering, there is no perceiving, there is no game anymore. People would not call us by our name. They will just call us as a body, isn't it? So I think let's enjoy this statement, to perceive is to suffer. Yes, it is true, but this is what life is all about. I will not take much of your time, but to say, yes, I buy this point, and I love suffering because I love perceiving. Back to you, sir.
Great take on the topic, Amjad sir. What human beings do, we perceive, we create a reality in imagination. So normal perceiving is not a suffering, but not aligning with the perceived reality which we have is the actual cause of all these sufferings. So I can see Toastmaster Umar joining us. Can we have quick audio video check, Toastmaster Umar?
I cannot open the video, but audio will be fine this time.
Audio check, sir. Audio check for today. Toastmaster Umar, wishing to be friend is a quick walk, but friendship is a slow ripening food. Wishing to be friends is a quick walk, but friendship is a slow ripening food. The stage is yours.
That's a good topic, Akib. And of course, everybody is quick to make friends. Okay, I want to have this friend, that friend, so many friends very fast. But in order to continue that friendship, it takes time. Every relationship, whether you are a friend or whether you are a husband and wife, it takes time and it to grow. And how it does it grow? You have to build trust. You have to build the bond of love, kindness, care as a friend. And it doesn't happen, oh, okay, it is a one in one night I will be caring for you, I will be doing this thing for you, I will be doing that thing for you. No, it cannot happen like that. It is a lifelong commitment. If you are a genuine friend of somebody, it takes time to cultivate such kind of friendship. It's a slow walk, but it's a walk in the right direction. It is not a destructive kind of a friendship. It's not kind of a friendship that will hold you back in any way or other. So if you are developing the trust and conviction in your friendship, it will stay longer. I always say that I heard it that long time back that when you grow up, you start losing friends. Actually, you are finding out who your real friends are, because some will be like maybe only your colleagues, maybe just for the time being for 1 year or 2 year when you are in school or maybe in the college, but they will not last because their needs are attached to you, maybe some way, or they are connected to you, but they are not friends. They are someone who are just connected to you because of their needs. So you have to distinguish between who are your friends, who are just your acquaintances. Okay, for a particular time period they are, because if you have a real friend and a genuine friend, they will stay with you forever. They till your end. They will be in your good times. They will be in your bad times. So real friends grow together and in a good, healthy way. And it is a walk of a life. And you enjoy every moment, happy moments, sad moments, all together. You have each other's back. That's what friendship is all about. The family we choose. Over to you, table topic master.
Great take on the topic, Toastmaster Uma. Your Zoom display pic says arrive as a king and leave as a legend. And very truly, you have left as a legend. Friendship is a slow walk, but walk in a right direction. These friends who will come, you'll have very less friends, but they'll stay in your bad times as well as in your good times. We had a lot of friends when we were child. I had 40-50 friends. Now it has come down to 2-3 people. So as we grow, as we understand, as we get mature, we try distinguishing and sorting out. So it's all about sorting out, filtering out people, and you jot down to 2, 3, 4 people, and that's what your life becomes.
That's
So
true. Yes.
with this, today's topic session is over. Who's going to give me a topic today?
I can give you Akib if you want.
Yes, sir.
This topic I have given earlier also, a few months back also. So this is a question, and your topic is, what is the biggest waste of human potential? I'll repeat, what is the biggest waste of human potential? Akib.
Good evening, Global Unproductive friends. Topic given to me is, what is the waste of human potential? What is
Biggest
the greatest
waste, biggest waste of human potential.
biggest waste of the human potential? Well, I have little different thought process on this. So we live in a city called Sasaram, which was built at like 1700 years when India was being ruled by Sher Shah Suri. He came to Sasaram and he made that place as a capital of that place. Lot of buildings were built there, and we had entire region's capital in our city. Now what you say is just abandoned buildings, and there is no use of it. Even Archaeological Survey of India doesn't do much, and it is just left to be rotten. And I feel like, why this much huge amount of money is being wasted? At the same time, you have Taj Mahal, which is being inaugurated, beautified, so that India earns a lot of money out of it. People come visit it. However, in the same country, you have a place which has a huge potential to earn money, and it is being wasted. So that was my first thought, and it was on capital which we have and which is being underutilized. The second thought is on people. When I used to go back to our villages, lot of people will come and sit for the entire day doing nothing. So the job is, yearly you get 2 seasons. One season is for wheat, the other season is for rice. You work 30 days, you sow the seeds. In between, for 1 month more, you do some hard work. But for the remaining 4 to 6 months, you do nothing. They sit quietly, and there is no productivity coming out of it. This human potential which we have can be leveraged, and we can take out more. When we see people working in the cities, we try to utilize at least 8 hours to 9 hours of our daily life. So there is no season where we sit quietly, we don't do anything. So in cities, we are trying to maximize the maximum potential which can come out. We are trying to put data analytics, we are trying to put all the digitalization, trying to save even 5 minutes. I don't want to waste 5 minutes to go and bring grocery. So that's the kind of innovation is being built, so that we don't waste 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes I can utilize doing something productive, something of making this country great, or making this city great, or earning more money for my family. However, these people in the villages, they're sitting quietly doing nothing. So there is a lot of potential which can be done there, and still it is there. It's not like it was 10 years back when I was there. It's still there. People don't waste a lot of time, and it may be certain, like they may have different aspect of it, but my thought process was there, that one side I have a capital which is lying and not being utilized by the government. Other side, we have people sitting around for the months together doing nothing. So that's my take on the topic. Over to you, Toastmaster Uma.
Good improvisation, Rakesh. Well done. Good attempt. So with this, I would like to hand over the mic to Mike Thomas.
Thanks, Toastmaster Uma. Amjad sir, now we have completed all the table topic session.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Akif Javed, for wonderful session. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to thank him for giving us topics and managing all of us in exactly 1 hour. Appreciate it. With that power vested in me as a host of this very meeting, I attend the meeting. Thank you. Bye-bye.